Okay, so we're just going to talk a little bit about the overhead position, and we're just looking at shoulder health here. So we're going to go through 4 different sort of tests, and I'm going to talk to you about what each test is going to show us. I'm not really going to go through to the solutions in this video, but it's going to help you just sort of get a better understanding of maybe what's giving you the limited range of motion overhead. So our first test that we're going to do is we're going to stand with the feet off the wall. The knees are going to be off lock, and I want to try to think about pushing the lower back into the wall. So it's a little bit of what we call a posterior pelvic tilt. I'm just trying to tuck the pelvis underneath and make sure my lower back is flat on the wall. So for all of these tests, the objective is to keep the back there. There shouldn't be a point where you arch and I can put my hand behind the back, okay? So again, knees are soft, this position. We start with the hands by our side. We're just going to take ourselves into shoulder flexion. So I'm just going to slowly start to bring the arms up, and I'm going to try to reach back and touch the wall in this position, okay? At the same time, the lower back is pushed against the wall and my head is against the wall as well, okay? Some of you might get to a range where we're sort of here, and you won't be able to take the shoulder back any further, okay? And the way we make up that range of motion is generally we do this, and we break through our midline to be able to get the arms overhead, okay? So this can be a sign of tightness in the shoulder, so it could be related to the pecs or it could be related to the lats, but it can also be a sign of just really tight thoracic. So we're a little bit cathodic and bent in this position, and we struggle to open up the thoracic here, okay? So this is something or areas we're gonna start to need to work on. Our second test, again, same position, knees are soft, pushing the lower back into the wall. We're going to try to bring the elbows up here so they're in line with the shoulders, and there's a 90-degree bend. And then from this position, keeping the lower back on the wall, we're going to try to take the hands to the wall in this position, okay? So it's a 90-90 bend. Can the lower back be down? Can the head be touching the wall? And the whole arm is touching the wall in this position, okay? So what we're looking at here is we're starting to look at the external rotation of the shoulder and making sure that you have external rotation. If we're tight and we can't get here, then it's a sign that the external rotators are potentially quite tight. Again, the pecs and the lats can affect this as well, and the areas we're going to need to start to work on. Test number 3. Same position, okay? We're just going to laterally raise the arms now. So I'm in this position here, and I start to raise the arms. They're touching the wall the whole time, and I'm just seeing how high I can take them, where they're touching the wall, keeping the lower back on the ground again, okay? So I'm quite mobile through my shoulders. I can keep my hands in touch with the wall when I'm going up. This is a sign, if you can only get to parallel or just above there, that the pec and the lat are tight, okay? So this is something we've got to try and stretch out so you can start to increase this range of motion and get the arms above the head. The last little test we're going to do, we'd be facing the wall. I'm just going to use this upright to sort of demonstrate. My toes would be touching the wall here, okay? Potentially I could have the nose touching the wall as well. We're going to raise the bar above the head, okay? We're going to hold this roughly shoulder width apart. And then from here, what I'm going to try to do is keep the rib down and then just try to lift back as far as I can. So it could be here, touching, and then I'm just going to try to pull back as far as I can. Again, keeping the rib down. Don't want to see the back arch. The bum is staying tight. We've got this posterior pelvic tilt again. And we're just starting to bring the range of motion back and see what sort of extension we have in the shoulder, okay? This just starts to look at some of the mobility of the scapula, okay? We want to have a little bit of elevation there. We're pushing up, and again, just sort of reaching back there. We want to try to keep the elbows locked nice and tight. If we start to see the bend in the elbow, it can be a sign that the biceps are a little bit tight, and again, that the pecs are tight. So from these 4 tests, we can sort of see the health of the shoulder, see what range of motion you have missing, and then sort of start to pick out some areas in terms of some mobility stuff that you need to work on. I recommend that if you fail any of these tests, you should not be placing a weight over your head, and you should not be doing handstands, okay? The only way you make up the range of motion is to start to break through your midline, and this starts to put a lot of pressure into the lower back, okay? So it's only a matter of time, enough repetitions, before you're going to start to feel back pain, unless you start to take care of your shoulders. So if we step back a little bit for now, and we start to do some corrective exercises and do the right mobility, then we're going to start to see some progressions, and eventually you will be able to put the barbell over your head, or you will be able to do a handstand and hold correct alignment, okay? So just take 1 step back so you can take 3 or 4 or 5 steps forward. Don't keep going until you get injured and then think, oh shit, I better come back and fix that now, all right? Try these tests, see how you go. If you need some assistance with your mobility, let us know.